Okay, I've screwed this up twice, so I'm going to try to get this done right. Anyway, hi. Hope you're having a good day. We are going to finish up this outline today, talking about two things. One is the federal court system and how cases get to the courts, Supreme Court. And then secondly, I'm going to add some stuff at the bottom that has to do with ways of interpreting the Constitution, which you're going to actually get an assignment off of that'll be posted tomorrow. So, okay, first off, if you're looking at the outline, third page, aside from SCOTUS, there is also right underneath there. So if you've got a situation where you've got a case that's federal in nature, you kill the president, mail fraud, oh my gosh, so many things that would be federal, that you cross state lines, kidnap somebody, take them across state lines, so on and so forth. You would go to the federal district court, DCOTUS, on your outline. It's that second one. There are 94 of these in the state or in the country. Ours is in Indianapolis. So, picture Louisville and St. Louis and so on. Would have them. So your case would go in front of a judge, and then he or she finds you guilty or not, or they take your case. They agree with you or not. So if they do, great, you win. If not, then you have the right to appeal up to the COAOTUS, Courts of Appeals of the United States, of which there are 12. Ours is in Chicago. So picture regional, Atlanta and I don't know where, New York, places like that. Okay? So then you typically get a 3-judge panel. And they're going to hear your case, and then 2-1 or 3-0, you win or lose. So it's just a majority is going to rule. If you win, great. If you lose, then you have the right to appeal up to the U.S. Supreme Court. And if they decide to take it, unlikely, like we've talked about, but if they decide to take it, then that's how you get to the Supreme Court. And that is the most common way that a case gets to the court. I've drawn this beautiful chart here, just to show you. Sorry about that. So just look at the side here. Here's federal district court. Okay, so here's your case. If you lose, you get to appeal it up, and if you lose there, you get to appeal it up, and if they take it, there's SCOTUS. So that right there is your most common way that a court case gets to the Supreme Court. Those 3 steps. Okay, you can go from federal district to SCOTUS. It happens. It's not very common, but you can do that once in a while. Okay, the other thing would be, let's say you've got a case like Cameron Madero, my dear amigo, steals some combos and Slim Jims from Speedway. And he runs out screaming maniacally and so on and so forth. And he finally gets tackled by the police over by Anita's Kitchen, right in front of the 10 Commandments. And he gets arrested, and he goes to court, and he's convicted. It's pretty obvious. But during the during the trial, his attorney happens to overhear one of the jury members make an anti-Hispanic slur. And he brings that to the attention of the judges, and the judge says, well, I'll allow it because people have their own opinions. It has nothing to do with the case. So he loses, and then he decides to appeal from the county to the state appeals court in Indiana. So they get the case, and they hear this evidence. They're like, yeah, it's okay. It's free speech and so forth. So then he has a right to appeal to the state Supreme Court, Indiana Supreme Court. And they basically have the same decision to make. So they decide, the conviction stands. So then he decides to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. And in some cases, the U.S. Supreme Court will take the case straight from the state Supreme Court. And that's the other bigger way that you get. So to show you this, here's your county, here's Mark Dudley, etc. State appeals, state Supreme Court, and then it kind of shifts over to the U.S. Supreme Court if they decide to take it. And that is also how cases get to the court. You're going to get some case research to do a little bit later in the semester. And anytime you see a case with the name of a state in it, it's pretty common. That's how it happened. Okay? So those are the 2 main ways that cases get to the court. Okay? So any questions on that, let me know. All right, the last thing at the bottom, I would like you to cross out that OMF COTUS thing, and we're not going to do that, and put these two words. The first word, originalist, ORIGINALIST, and evolutionist, EVOLUTIONIST. Now you'll sometimes hear these called originalists, sometimes they're called textualists, don't really worry about these terms. And evolutionists are called living documentarians. It's the same basic thing. Okay? But it's two basic ways of looking at the Constitution, of interpreting things. Judges do this, presidents do this, courts do this. I mean, human beings do this in the way you look at things. But when you're talking about an originalist judge, you're talking about somebody that looks and says, okay, here, what's the Constitution say? What does it say? What do the founders, Madison, Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton, what do they say in their notes in the Federalist about this? What do they mean by this? That's what we go with. We don't try to put stuff in that doesn't exist. It's just very simple, very, this is what they said. This is what they said they meant. So that's what we go with. Okay. And as you might guess, this tends to be more of a conservative view. This is more Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh and so on and so forth, guys like that. Okay. The other type, evolutionist, as you might guess from the name, the Constitution is a living, breathing document, that's what they say, that needs to change with the times, and that as smart as Madison and Hamilton might have been, they couldn't anticipate things like abortion and space travel and gay marriage and the internet and all that kind of stuff that, that there are cases about. So therefore, the Constitution must, if not change in word, change in interpretation and expand or contract to meet the demands of society. And that tends to be liberals, Ginsburg, Sotomayor, and people like that. Okay, but again, think about presidents and Congress right now with this stimulus. This is unheard of news of $2 trillion, which, by the way, your parents are going to get a check soon if you didn't know that. That is completely, where in the Constitution does it say this, but yet, well, it's an emergency, it's crisis time, and businesses are going out of business and so on, so we got to do something, so here we go. Same things probably wouldn't fly during regular time, so that's more of a evolutionist type of argument, I suppose. So anyway, you're going to get an assignment, like I said, off of this. You're also going to get a quiz I'm going to post on Wednesday next. And this will be the last time you hear from me this week unless something else pops up. So with that in mind, enjoy, take care of yourself, and I'll see you later.